exercise air and water. From question 1 to question 10, any doubt? The MCQs. Any doubt from question 1 to question 10? Question 4. Okay, 4 and 6. Discussion is related to yesterday's topic, which is about the fertilizers. So for the growth of the plant, which elements are required? We need nitrogen for the growth of the plant, phosphorus for better root system, and potassium for the fruits and flowers. So farmer soil is very low in both nitrogen and phosphorus. So small amount of nitrogen and phosphorus is there. Which fertilizer would improve the quality of the soil effectively? So we need greater amount of nitrogen and greater amount of phosphorus. The percentages are given. So which is having the highest percentage of nitrogen, the which fertilizer having a higher percentage of nitrogen and phosphorus? These are the percentages given. So you can see this contain 31% nitrogen and 29% phosphorus. That's why the most effective fertilizer will be D. Why we choose this? Because in the question they mention a farmer soil is very low in both nitrogen, means amount of nitrogen is small, amount of nitrogen is there, and as well as the phosphorus. Is it clear? Why D is the right answer? Then question 6. Lime or calcium oxide is used to treat. In question number 4, they're asking the farmer soil is very low in both nitrogen, means small amount of nitrogen is there and small amount of phosphorus. So which fertilizer would improve the quality of the soil most effectively? Because we want to increase the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus, so you have to check which fertilizer contain greater percentage of these elements. So which fertilizer contain greater percentage of nitrogen and phosphorus? Because they did not mention it is low in potassium. So it's only the two nutrients which the soil is lacking is nitrogen and phosphorus. So which fertilizer contain the greater percentage of nitrogen and phosphorus? So fertilizer D contain 31% nitrogen, 29% phosphorus. 9% potassium is there and other elements will be there. But the essential nutrient, because we only need nitrogen and phosphorus, that's why we choose D as a right answer. Is it clear now? Then question 6. Lime, which is calcium oxide, is used to treat the wastewater from the factory. Which substance is removed from the lime? What is lime? Lime is like calcium oxide. Calcium is a metal, so we can also say it is metal oxide or base. So metal oxide can react with acid or base can react with acid. So which of them is acidic? That substance it will react with lime. So ammonia is there. Ammonia is alkaline or basic, so it does not react with base. Like there's no reaction of base with base. Sodium chloride is a salt, that's why no reaction. Sodium hydroxide is an alkali, no reaction. Sulfuric acid, so it is an acid. Basically what happened, calcium oxide can react with sulfuric acid. This will result in a formation of calcium sulfate plus water, H2O. That's why D is a right answer. So metal oxide or basic oxide can react with acid. Is it clear? So because calcium oxide is a metal oxide, so metal oxide can react with acid. That is why D is a right answer. Any other doubt from question 1 to question 10, the MCQs? Then from 11 to 20, any doubt from 11 to 20? This is exercise air and water. If no doubt, just mention or send a message, no, so I will move on. From 21 to 30. Question number 19. Ammonia is manufactured by a Haber process using iron as a catalyst. It is not possible to obtain 100% yield. Like example, we don't get only ammonia because the ammonia is decomposing back to nitrogen and hydrogen. What is this? What is the reason for this? What is the reason why we do not get 100% ammonia, like only the product ammonia will be there? The high pressure is used. Ammonia decompose at high temperature. Basically what happened, because this reaction is exothermic. So when the reaction is exothermic, nitrogen is reacting with hydrogen. This result in a formation of ammonia, which is NH3. Nitrogen and hydrogen react to form ammonia, and ammonia can decompose to form back nitrogen and hydrogen. So what happened? Why we do not get 100% yield, or why we do not get only ammonia? A high pressure is used. If high pressure is used, equilibrium will shift towards right, so we will get more ammonia. So this cannot be an answer. Ammonia decompose at high temperature. What happened? Because the forward reaction is exothermic, so if we increase the temperature, so what happened? Ammonia will decompose and it will form back nitrogen and hydrogen. That's why B is the right answer. Some of the ammonia is recycled. Ammonia is not recycled. Nitrogen and hydrogen are recycled. Ammonia react with catalyst. Actually, the substance, when it is a catalyst, chemically it remain unchanged. That's why D is not the right answer. So correct answer is B. What happened? Because of the temperature, the ammonia decompose and form back nitrogen and hydrogen. That's why amount of ammonia or the percentage of the ammonia will decrease. From question 21 to 30, 28. A Haber process for making ammonia is carried out at a temperature around 450 and a pressure 200 atmospheres in the presence of the catalyst. Which statement is not correct, or which statement is not true? Lowering the pressure increase the rate at which ammonia is produced. Rate of the reaction, the factors which affect the rate of the reaction, the temperature. If you increase the temperature, the speed of the reaction increase. If you increase the pressure, the speed of the reaction increase. If you use the surface area, if you change the surface area, the rate of the reaction increase. If you use a catalyst, the rate of the reaction increase. If you use high concentration, the rate of the reaction increase. So these all factors, if you increase them, the rate of the reaction will also increase. So which statement is not correct? Lowering the pressure increase the rate of the reaction. So that's wrong, because if you lower the pressure, if you decrease the pressure, the rate of the reaction will also decrease. But the yield means amount of the product. Yield is different thing, rate is different. Rate is refers to speed of the reaction and yield refers to amount of the product. So which statement is not correct? Statement A is not correct. If you lower the pressure, it will not increase the rate, it will actually decrease the rate. What about B? Lowering the temperature slow down the rate. That's true, because if you decrease the temperature, the rate of the reaction decrease. Maintaining a high pressure is very difficult and need expensive equipment. That's also true, because if you want to keep the gases at a very high pressure, then what happened, due to the to hold, like the container should be very strong, made up of a rigid material, so that it will not deform or can hold or withstand with that high pressure. So that's why maintaining a high pressure is very difficult and it need expensive equipment. That's true. The reaction is reversible, which can proceed forward and backward. The manufacture of ammonia by a Haber's process, it's a reversible reaction. The nitrogen and hydrogen can form ammonia, where ammonia can decompose and form back nitrogen and hydrogen. So B, C, and D statements are true. Which statement is not correct? A is not correct statement. Is it clear? Then question 31 to 35. Any doubt? From 31 to 35? 35? Which statement about the carbon cycle is correct? The carbon cycle, as you took in the lower classes, like example, class 7, class 6. So which statement is correct for the carbon cycle? Animals and plants need carbon dioxide for respiration. Look, plants need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, not for respiration. So this is state, and same thing, animals does not require carbon dioxide, they need oxygen for respiration. So statement A is not true. Combustion of the plant and natural gas produce carbon dioxide. That's true, because when you burn plant, what it release carbon dioxide, because they contain a carbon content. So the carbon dioxide is released. If you burn a natural gas, which mainly a methane, like 95% or 97% methane is there. So when you burn this methane, what it release carbon dioxide and water vapor. So statement B is correct. Plant produce glucose from carbon dioxide and oxygen. No, it's not carbon dioxide and oxygen, it is carbon dioxide and water. So this statement is not correct. Oxygen is produced by both animals and plants. Plants can produce oxygen, but animals are not producing oxygen. Animals are producing, because of respiration, they take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. That's why statement D is also not correct. So only correct answer is B. So any other doubt in MCQs? Then I'll start the structure question discussion one by one. Is there any doubt in MCQs? From 1 to 35. If I miss any question, you can just let me know. From question 1 to question 35. Okay, structure question. Move on to structure question. Any doubt? One by one, I will move on. Any doubt in question one? In question one, if no doubt, you can mention. Question one. Question two. Any doubt in question two? The structure question. If any doubt, just let me know. So I'll discuss. Question two, any doubt? Then question three. So question three, part C, the doubt, other atmospheric pollutants are lead compounds from leaded petrol. Why the lead compounds are harmful? So what is the, like why they are harmful? Because these lead compounds, what they can cause? They can affect the nervous system or can damage the brain. So things you can mention can damage brain or reduce IQ, or lead compounds are toxic. Simply you can write that what they can do, they can damage brain. Question 4. Any doubt in question 4? Question 4, C4. Okay, this one. So I will 4A2. Look, air is a mixture of the gases. The main constituent are the element oxygen and nitrogen. Name another element. So another element is argon. Give a formula for compound in unpolluted air. A compound which is present, so what you can say, you can write carbon dioxide, because the unpolluted air also contain carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is a compound. Even like water vapors are there, so you can mention water vapors or water. This C part I will discuss in detail. The percentage of oxygen in air can be determined by the following experiment. Gas syringe heat containing a gas syringe, a large piles of copper, a small pile of copper, a 50 cm cube of air is there. The gas syringe containing 50 cm cube of air, the large pile of a copper is heated, then the air is passed over from one gas syringe to another. Over the hot copper, the large pile of a copper turned black. Then the gas is allowed to cool and the volume is measured. The small pile is heated and remaining gas is passed over the hot copper, but that copper does not turn black. So basically, why the copper turned black? Because actually the copper is reacting with oxygen which is present in the air, and it will form copper oxide. So copper is originally brown or pink in color. Appearance of the copper, brown or pink, is acceptable. And what is the appearance of copper oxide? Copper oxide is black. But first, the large pile, when we pass the sample of air, all of the oxygen reacted with copper, so it turned into copper oxide. Then when we place the small pile, the copper, actually there is no air oxygen present, because all of the oxygen is already reacted with a large pile. That's why the small pile does not convert into black, because there is no oxygen present. So the question is why the copper in a large pile turned black. So what is the reason why the copper in the large pile turned black? Because the copper actually reacted with oxygen. So reason is that because the copper react with oxygen, form copper oxide. And that copper oxide is black, that's why it turned black. Why must the gas be allowed to cool before the volume is measured? Because the volume, as we discussed even in physics, we know that if you have a container which is filled with a gas, so I should maintain the temperature, I should keep the temperature constant. Why I should keep the temperature constant? Because if something is hot, the particle will collide more often with the walls and the volume will change. So why we should cool down this gas syringe before measuring the volume? Because the volume of the gas is affected by temperature. So the temperature or the heat will affect the volume. That's why we should cool down or take the volume at a room temperature. Then why the copper in a small pile does not turn black? So what is the reason why the copper in the small pile does not turn black? So the reason is that because there is no oxygen left or no oxygen is present. In sample of air. That is why the copper does not turn black in the small pile. What is the approximate volume of the gas left in the apparatus? Look, as we know, what is the amount of oxygen in air? Air contains 21% of oxygen. So if air contains 21% oxygen, if I write the percentage of oxygen is equals to volume of oxygen divided by volume of air multiplied by 100. So air contains 21% of oxygen, so this will be 21. Volume of oxygen we don't know. What is the volume of air? Original volume of air is 50 and multiplied by 100. So when I solve this, this will be 21 is equals to x divided by 50 into 100. So this 50 will cancel with 100, so we're left with 2. 2 is multiplied, other side it will divide, so it will be 21 divided by 2. That will be x. So 21 divided by 2, I'll get 10.5. So basically 10.5 cm cube is the volume of oxygen. But in the question, they're not asking volume of oxygen, they're asking what is the volume of the gas left. So if 10.5 cm cube of oxygen was there and that oxygen is completely reacted, how much volume of the gas left? So it will be 50 minus 10.5, which is equals to 39.5 cm cube. Is it clear? This part, the volume of the air or the gas which is left. Question 5, any doubt? Ethene, about the use of ethene, because you will study in organic chemistry, so you can leave it now. Others you should know. But these hydrocarbons are normally used as a fuel. Any doubt in question 5? Question 6, is there any doubt? In question 6, look, because they mention industrial use, like in industry where we should use. So you can mention, we can use as a solvent, we can use as a coolant. Any doubt in question 7? In question number 5, state the use of the chlorine. Chlorine is used to kill bacteria in a drinking water. You mentioned to make salts, mainly disinfectant, not like the treatment to make bleach as a disinfectant, not just making a salt. That's not like what is the use basically. Making a salt for what purpose basically you have to mention. Seven B. In many regions, the drinking water is obtained by distillation of a seawater. Explain how distillation separate the water from the seawater. The process of distillation. So what happened in process of the distillation? The water first convert into, because what happened, the water absorbed the heat energy and it turned into vapor and then it condenses. Turned into vapor or steam and then condenses. So you have to just explain the distillation. So what happened in distillation? Example, you have a seawater. Seawater contain a dissolved salt. So when it absorbs the heat energy, the water rises and convert into vapor, and this vapor condenses and form a pure water. So salt will left behind and the water condenses which does not have any salt. This is how we obtain a drinking water from a seawater. Any doubt in question 8? Eight part 2. So 8a part 2. Which one of the above changes exothermic? Exothermic means which give out energy. You can see a water in a liquid state absorbing energy convert into vapor. So this is endothermic because it is absorbing energy. But when water in a gaseous state convert into water in a liquid state, basically H2O in a gaseous vapor form convert into a liquid state. So it release that energy and the molecule come closer to each other. So which one is exothermic? When the gas is changing back into liquid, it will release energy. So stage 2 is exothermic. Then fish live in water which is neutral, neither acidic nor alkaline. Acid rain decreases the pH of the water in the lakes and the river. Both of the base, calcium oxide and calcium carbonate, can neutralize the acid and increase the pH. Why calcium carbonate is a better choice? Look, what is the reason why a calcium carbonate is a better choice for neutralizing or making the water neutral as compared to calcium oxide? So reason is that because calcium oxide is sparingly or partially or slightly soluble. So example, you have a lake which is acidic. So this lake is acidic and you want to neutralize because the fish live in a water which is neutral. So if this is acidic, because of acid rain, its pH is say equal to 6. So it is acidic. Now what we are doing, there are two ways to neutralize. We can add calcium oxide. If I add calcium oxide, first what happened? When we add calcium oxide, the calcium oxide will react with acid. So calcium oxide react with acid, it will metal oxide plus acid. What it result? It result in a formation of salt and water. So acid is when calcium oxide is added, acid will react. So amount of acid will decrease. As the amount of acid will decrease, it will neutralize. So then the pH will become 7 when all of the acid is used. But what happened? You don't know how much calcium oxide is needed. So example, if you continuously adding calcium oxide. So as you are continuously adding calcium oxide, now what happened? The calcium oxide, which is sparingly soluble or slightly soluble. So calcium oxide mixed with water and it will become calcium hydroxide. As it becomes calcium hydroxide, what is calcium hydroxide? Calcium hydroxide is a base or alkali. So as it is a base, so what happened to the pH? The pH will now, for this water, the pH will be more than 7. So as the pH is more than 7, again, this water is not suitable for the marine life or fishes. But what is the advantage? Why calcium carbonate is useful? Because what happened in case of calcium carbonate is insoluble. So if you want to neutralize, you have a lake which is having a pH less than 7 and acid is there. Now to neutralize this, what you are doing, you are adding calcium carbonate. So calcium carbonate can also react with acid. When calcium carbonate react with acid, this will result in a formation of salt, water, and carbon dioxide. So you will see bubbles, fizz. Once all of the acid is used up, what will happen? The pH will be 7. But again, when you add an excess means more than enough. So if you add more than enough calcium carbonate is insoluble. So when you add an excess, if calcium carbonate is not reacting, so it will remain insoluble, does not dissolve or does not react with anything. So the pH will remain 7. So the advantage of using a calcium carbonate, like when you're adding to an acidic water, so it react with that acidic water and it neutralize. Once all of the acid is used up, now the calcium carbonate, it cannot react with any other substance and it is insoluble in water, so it does not affect the pH of the water. Is it clear? So when you write the answer, you will mention the calcium oxide is soluble, so if we use too much it will make the water alkaline, but calcium carbonate is insoluble. So if when we are when all the acid is used up, excess of calcium carbonate will not react or does not dissolve in water, so the water will remain neutral. Question 9, any doubt in question number 9? Any doubt in this question, question 9? Okay, in question number 9, they mention ozone is a form of oxygen, like because oxygen normally it's O2, but ozone is O3. Ozone is present in the upper atmosphere and it prevents the dangerous solar radiation to reach from reaching the Earth's surface. Some of the chemical that diffuse to the upper atmosphere, diffusion means like movement of the molecule from region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Chemical that have effect, methane is there, chloromethane is there, and oxides of nitrogen. Which of three chemical diffuse most slowly? Basically, diffusion depends on the mass. If lighter molecules, they will diffuse faster because molecules have less mass, so they can move easily. If greater mass is there, increase in mass will reduce the diffusion. So we have to check which of them is heavy. The heavy molecules will diffuse slower. So how to check which one is heavy or lighter? You will find their molecular mass. How to find the molecular mass? Like first one, if we have methane, so you will use a periodic table. In exam as well, you will have the periodic table. So first one is methane. So carbon is 12 plus hydrogen is 1 into 4. So that total will be 16. So methane is 16. What about chloromethane? Chlorine is 12 plus hydrogen is 1 multiplied by 3 plus carbon is 12, sorry, hydrogen is 1 multiplied by 3 and chlorine is 35.5. So when you add, this will be 15 plus 35.5. So this will be 50.5. And what about oxides of nitrogen, NO2? Nitrogen is 14 plus oxygen is 16 multiplied by 2. That's equal to 32. So 14 plus 32, that is equals to 46. So which of them is heavier? Chloromethane is heavier, so it will diffuse slower because the diffusion depends on the mass. If heavy object like heavy molecules are there, so which of these chemical will diffuse slower? So slower is chloromethane, and which will diffuse faster? The faster will be methane because it's a lighter. Chloromethane, and reason because it is heavy. So heavy molecules does not heavy molecules will move slower. Then chloromethane is formed when seaweeds decompose. Name the compound in the environment from which the seaweed might obtain. Seaweeds, basically seaweeds are growing on the surface of the water. So the question is, this seaweed, when it decomposes, it releases chloromethane, CH3Cl. Name the compound in the environment from which the seaweed might take the following element. Like from where the seaweed, which is growing on the surface of the water, is taking carbon, like from where it get carbon, so it can get carbon from carbon dioxide. From where it can get hydrogen, it can get hydrogen from water. And from where it get chlorine, it can get chlorine from the dissolved salt, because like seawater contain a dissolved salt, so it can obtain this chlorine from the chloride salts or dissolved salt in water. Then next part, how can a chloromethane made from methane? This part is related to organic chemistry, so I will skip for a time being. This is related to organic chemistry that we will start from next week, so I'll skip this part. Oxides of nitrogen are atmospheric pollutant. How they are formed? So inside the car engine, due to high temperature, nitrogen and oxygen from air react to form oxides of nitrogen. Complete the equation for decomposition of ozone. Basically, ozone decomposes into oxygen. So the product, like if you have ozone, it form oxygen. Equation must be balanced. If I put 2 here, so 6 oxygen, I'll put 3. So 6 oxygen on the left, 6 oxygen on the right. So it is 2O3 changes into 3O2. Ozone means 3 oxygen atoms link with each other, where O2 means 2 oxygen atoms link with each other. Question 10. Any doubt in question 10? Any doubt in discussion 10? Question 11. Any doubt in question 11? Basically, this question is concerned with the following oxide. This is related to so this is related to the types of oxide. Which of the above oxide react with hydrochloric acid but not with sodium hydroxide? So we need a basic oxide. Sulfur dioxide is acidic oxide because it's a non-metal oxide. Acidic oxide. Carbon monoxide is a neutral oxide. Lithium oxide is a metal oxide or basic oxide. Aluminium oxide is amphoteric, can react with both acid and alkali. Oxide of nitrogen are also acidic oxide, can react with base. And strontium, a metal oxide, it's also a basic oxide. Basic oxide can react with acid only. So which of the oxide react with acid but not with, so basically react with acid but not with an alkali. So they're asking for basic oxide. So which of them is a basic oxide? Lithium oxide is a basic oxide or strontium oxide is a basic oxide. Which of the above oxide will react with sodium hydroxide but not with hydrochloric acid? So which of the following oxide react with sodium hydroxide but not with hydrochloric acid? So sodium hydroxide is an alkali. So acidic oxide can react with base or alkali but does not react with acid. So which of them are acidic oxide? Like sulfur dioxide is there, oxide, nitrogen dioxide is there. These are acidic oxide. Which of the above oxide will react with both hydrochloric acid? So only amphoteric oxide is given is aluminum oxide. Which of the oxide does not react with hydrochloric acid or sodium hydroxide? So carbon monoxide is the only neutral oxide. Then part B, two of the oxides are responsible for acid rain. Identify two oxide and explain their presence. So the two oxides which are causing an acid rain, so acidic oxide can cause an acid rain. So what are the two oxides which can cause acid rain? Sulfur dioxide and oxide of nitrogen. How sulfur dioxide is produced? It is produced by combustion of the fossil fuel containing sulfur. So fossil fuels which are containing sulfur, that's, or the second thing, from where we get these oxides of the nitrogen. Oxides of the nitrogen are formed by incomplete by the inside the car engine due to high temperature. So acidic oxide, basically you have to mention, and how it is formed. Sulfur dioxide is formed by combustion of the fossil fuel containing sulfur, and how oxides of nitrogen are formed inside the car engine due to high temperature. Nitrogen and oxygen react from the air and form nitrogen dioxide. Lithium oxide is ionic compound. Identify another ionic oxide. Ionic oxide, basically ionic compounds when metal is reacting with a non-metal. So which of the compound contain a metal and non-metal? So lithium oxide is one of them. Another one which contain, so strontium and oxygen, strontium oxide also, because it contains strontium and oxygen. And same thing, aluminum is metal and oxygen is non-metal, so that's also ionic compound. Then draw a dot and cross diagram. So basically, first thing, to write an ionic, to draw the structure of ionic compound, we should know the formula. Lithium belongs to group 1, so it's +1. Oxygen belongs to group 6, so it is -2. The formula of lithium oxide will be Li2O. So we have to draw two lithium. Each lithium is having one electron in the outermost shell, and oxygen belongs to group 6, so each one oxygen is there having 6 electron. Oxygen loses electron, sorry, lithium loses electron, oxygen gain electron. But we have to draw the final structure. So to draw the final structure, we just have to draw after the electron transfer. So once the electron is transferred, the lithium does not have in the outermost shell, it does not have any electron, and oxygen took 2 electrons from the lithium, from 1 electron from each lithium. So these circles are representing the oxygen. We have to use a cross for oxygen because it's for cross for oxygen and circle for. So 6 electron belongs to oxygen, and it took 1 from each lithium, so make it 2, so it will be -2. That's a structure of lithium oxide. Any doubt in question 12? Is there any doubt in question number 12? Any other doubt? If I miss any question, you can just let me know. Is there any doubt in this exercise? Okay, so this was an exercise related to air and water. Now I'll start a new topic, which is carbonates. Again, this is also a very short topic. Not too many things are there in this topic.